Hey guys, I haven't made a video for a while. Just haven't really had the time or the space. There's been a lot going on where we're living. Good stuff, but I just haven't really had the opportunity. So I'm going to start making more videos when we move into our place. But while we're here, everyone's gone out and I'm in with the dogs. So I thought I'd do a video because I listened to a podcast yesterday with Peterson interviewing a woman called, I can't remember her name, Abigail something. And she wrote a book addressing the how there's a surge in teenage women who are going through the sex change to become men or boys, okay? What she's concerned about when she looked at the data is in this day and age, if a teenager wants to go and see a psychologist or something, or seeks medical attention for feeling like she's in the wrong body or he's in the wrong body, for example, she said they never address how they got to that place. Teenage girls at the moment are not showing any signs of this, early signs of feeling like they're in the wrong body. And then they start school, and some of them are in all-girls schools. Majority of them are in all-girls schools. And then all of a sudden, they want to become boys. Okay, and she's saying that when they go and seek medical advice, what's concerning it is they're not trying to find out how they got there. They're starting off with the conclusion. They're starting off with the fact that they're already there. Okay, and she said, and this is a massive concern because in some parts of America, this blew me away. She said, a teenager as young as 15 can go and get her breasts removed without even a doctor's note, without actually even seeing a doctor. They can go and get both their breasts removed and also start really high dosages of testosterone. And this is without seeing a doctor. As a lot of you know, for the past 11 years, I've been researching the highest spiritual teachings I can find from all different traditions, including my teacher. But I've also been intrigued and researched what the dark occultists get up to, what the dark side believe, practice. And I want to do I actually want to make a documentary. That's one thing that's on my radar. I want to make a documentary that clearly shows what the spiritual path is, okay? What the light, benevolent spiritual path is, why you would take it, and where you go by embarking on a spiritual path. And also show clearly what the dark path is, okay? And what they believe in and what will happen if you take that path. And also, I'm sharing it so that you can see clearly what the spiritual path is, benevolent, and you can see clearly what a dark spiritual behavior is like, because you'll start to see it everywhere. I heard David Icke say a lot of the symbology they use is the symbolism it was always, for years, it was hidden from us. Okay, so you watch all these kids movies, you don't know what you're watching. Or any movie, you're watching the storyline with the actors. You're not seeing the hidden message, the hidden symbology in the movies, when they give news articles, the hand symbols, like the Masonic secret symbols of the hand in the jacket and all the rest of it, right? So, but what happens is, that's programming your subconscious, but once you are shown it, once it's pointed out to you, you can't not see it, okay? that subconscious message is now brought to the forefront. Now, this is not something to be afraid of. This is so that when we operate in the world, my son doesn't know the dark practices that they get up to, okay? But he knows the symbology, okay? He understands what their symbolism is and what their messages are. My son comes to me all the time and he'll go, "Dad, you have to watch this with me. This is such a message in this. This is what they're trying to say." Now, he's only 11 and he's on the ball, okay? So the reason why I would make that documentary is so people can see the world they're living in clearly. So if they're watching a news report, or they're watching a movie, or they're watching a TV series, or anything, they can say, "Oh, okay, that means this. What they're doing is this. This is what they're signaling. This is what the subliminal message behind the front message." That's why I want to make that documentary. It's not to scare people, it's to show people, because everything's in secret, okay? So once it's out in the open, you can choose your own path. If you're a good person, you wouldn't go near that path, okay? And I'll also show how to be compassionate for those who are on that path, because they know that the average person would never take that path. They have to keep it in the family. They have to keep these kids that are born in, they have to really indoctrinate them and use specific mind control techniques so that when they grow into adults, they see the world the way that their parents did, their grandparents did, and so on. So when I'm listening to this conversation with Jordan Peterson and this Abigail, I don't know her second name, about this transgender movement, right? I see it completely different. I see it as it's a part of their agenda, okay? They are trying to mix up male and female hormones. They are getting us to fight against each other, and they invert the truth, because if you look at the $1 bill, the old C and I, where there's a gap between the old C and I and the rest of the pyramid, that's called a trapezoid. The trapezoid is basically designed to keep the people stuck in this three-dimensional hell, if you like. And the gap is, there's multiple layers to the meaning. They have a number of layers, but one of the meaning is keep the people separated from the all-seeing God. They believe in a benevolent God that is a creative force behind nature, okay? That is all good, the grand intelligence, everything you want. They believe in that God, okay? And they cut us off from that God because they worship Baal and the Baphomet, right? Which is Baal, B-A-A-L, is to invert the truth. This is why all the news we get is literally a complete inversion of the truth, because while we're lost in the trapezoid, we're caught in this karmic wheel and we are separated from the Creator, okay? So once you understand what they're doing and their main goal, you start to connect the dots in a conversation like this. And there's a point where Abigail says to Jordan Peterson, she says, "This is not medicine, this is closer to witchcraft." And I said, okay, this is where the conversation is going to turn, and she's going to start talking about the old religion, which is Satanism, which is what the people pushing these agendas, the narratives on the news, Hollywood, this is what their religion is, okay? Some people are Catholic, some people are Buddhist, some people are Muslim, some people are Satanist. I couldn't believe this for years, but it's true, they are. One part of Satanism, which is hard to wrap your head around, is I heard a artist, a music artist, who shared some secrets about Satanism and that world. And she said, one of the vows you make, the vow is to destroy what God made, okay? This is why in music videos, all they're pushing is the ego. F everybody else, and I get the the bitches and the cows, as they, it's all about building the ego, because the ego is separation consciousness. It is to separate you from the rest of the world, and that is to basically destroy what God made. Because by doing that, you don't care about the earth, you don't care about life, you don't care about your fellow human being. Okay, separation consciousness is basically to destroy what God made. Another part of it is body mutilation. Okay, to destroy what God made. Okay, God made a beautiful immune system that has survived for thousands of years, but now they've manipulated science, they've manipulated medicine. The Western medicine is based off, Rockefeller education, which is huge Satanist. So it's all about cut, chop, okay? And I can go really deep into this, but I won't go too deep into it. But basically, mutilating the body with vaccines, even, okay, we're told, remember the invasion of the truth, we're told that the vaccine is here to support and boost the immune system. Okay, but what did God make? Okay, this is completely different. This is another video, because I want to do a really in-depth video of what this COVID vaccine is doing. Okay, and it's a spiritual video of what it's doing. But so I won't go there now. But just let's say about vaccines as a way of body mutilation. Another one is for example, being allowed to go in at 15 and get your breast removed. Okay, now another part of this, a spiritual part of this, is what they believe. Okay, so if you look at, in Buddhism, for example, you might see a female Guanyin, right? But you also Guanyin Avalokiteshvara is depicted as male. Now, my Buddhist teacher said that at a Bodhisattva level, which is still not a Buddha, at a Bodhisattva level, there is no gender. Okay, they're beyond gender. Gender is in the physical realm. Okay, we reproduce differently. The Buddha told us this. Many spiritual beings have told us this. Even they mention this in like the Law of One. As you go up in layers of consciousness, the reproductive system is very different. Okay, so on a physical level, we have male and female, okay, duality. Because the lower you go in vibration and consciousness, the more separated it is. Okay, the more dense it is, the more lower the frequency. So with a Bodhisattva, for example, a Bodhisattva, I think, can come to anyone in 30 ways. I think it's 30 ways. So basically, say you're really struggling and you're praying to Guanyin, a bird might come. If that's the best way that they can approach you, Guanyin might come as a bird, as another human being, or as spiritual form. They can come in 30 different ways. They're not male, they're not female. My teacher's been saying for, since the beginning, since I've been with him, the divine, which is God, okay, the divine is our spiritual father and mother. So why am I sharing this? Because God is both Alpha and Omega as one, okay? But it is not a male or a female. Now, if you come down the layers of consciousness and you start looking at negative, dark entities that the dark side pray to, you then see the Baphomet, okay? Now, Baphomet is a physical representation of both male, female, and animal. Okay, it has like a goat's head, it has female breasts, it has both male and female sexual organs. Okay, and they pray to that. So what they do is, as a separation, a disconnection from God, right, is they mutilate the body. They merge male and female. If you look at the old rock stars in the 80s, David Bowie is like a woman. Okay, he looked like a woman. Prince looked like a woman. All these rock stars wearing mascara. These heavy metal bands with like long curly hair. You look at Liz Haley's son. Looks like a beautiful woman. To them, it's a spiritual thing. Okay, to them, it's a spiritual achievement, if you like. This is why so many celebrities are pushing it. So when you understand that they are trying to act as God by cutting themselves off from God, they're saying that this layer of hell, they acknowledge that it's hell, and they believe that the ruler of hell is Satan, right? And that's why they pray to Satan. They believe they're looked after. They believe that the more... I'm going to share something else here, right? It's really interesting because I heard the guy explaining where Luciferianism came from was when the Crusaders started going to places like India and listening to some of the Hindu teachings of like Shiva, and they started thinking maybe in the Garden of Eden, when Satan comes as a serpent, they started trying to bridge the gap with some of these Hindu stories, and they said maybe the true wisdom is with Satan, right? So they started to believe that, but when they went back, they knew that if they shared that, they'd get killed. Therefore, they started their secret societies, okay? And this is where all these weird rituals come from, where they they basically say if you break an oath, they cut the top of your head off and leave your son to bake, leave your brain to break in the sun. All these sick things that they do. I listen to the Bhagavad Gita, right? The Bhagavad Gita says, and I'm going to bring it all together. The Bhagavad Gita says when Arjuna is talking to Krishna, Krishna says, "Those who live in harmony with me." And he explains what will happen, okay? They will flourish, they will this, that, and the other, they will align with me, they will gain my qualities, so on. Those who align with demonic way of living, I will make sure they're always born, excuse the plane, they're always born in those families. Now, the insight I got from that is because I heard somebody say that they believe that the more cruel, the more evil and cruel their spiritual practices are in the physical life, the more it narrows the pool of being able to reincarnate again in these families. They believe that's how reincarnation works. And a lot of their teachings are based off true spiritual teachings, but I can't help but observe it as it's always a fundamental misunderstanding. I'll give you an example. My teacher shares that the yin-yang is the dualistic nature of this reality. It's drama, okay? And the true spiritual being detaches through compassion and rises above yin-yang and melds with the Tao. The Tao is the creator of heaven and earth on dualism, right? Therefore, that being selflessly aligns with the Creator, but then can save all beings to help them out of the yin-yang, okay? Now, a very similar teaching from the dark side is the checkered chessboard, okay? If you see black and white squares anywhere, it's a Masonic lodge or it's a Masonic symbol. What they're meaning is the yin-yang dualistic world is we're all on the chess board, and they are the chess masters manipulating the board to keep us on the board, okay? And they believe that, they basically believe that it's more of an evil, it's a violent approach. They are the illuminated ones because they understand some of the natural laws that they break, okay? They know that in some regard, again, it's confusion. With karma, for example, if you understand spirituality, true spirituality, if you're creating such levels of suffering that they may reincarnate in those families, but they're going to reincarnate as the children that are suffering, okay? So, for many, many lifetimes maybe. They may do many, many eons in hell before they even get to that level. So again, it's a misunderstanding, okay? That's the spiritual aspect, but they see it as if we just do such cruel acts, we'll just reincarnate into these families. and be able to do it all again, okay? Because we're praying to the devil. He's going to look after us, and he's going to keep us in this pool, and we're going to run the show and keep offering to him, and blah, blah, blah. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of how nature works. So, you know, I'm actually going all over the place with this video, but because I can actually go anywhere, that's why I wouldn't mind going back to the Q&A sessions. I want to do some more Q&A when I get in other place with the board. You have any questions on this? I can go in a certain direction rather than just jumping all over the place. But I do like finishing on a solution, okay? I was thinking of a way to explain an analogy of why you would want to know this information, because my teachers always spoke about the light side and the dark side, but he spoke of it spiritually speaking. But there is, on the physical plane, the dark side are the ones that we are seeing as the good guys. Okay, Bill Gates, we thought for years was a good guy, leaving all of his money for the benefits of humanity. But it turns out, when you start looking into it, he's not. He actually wants to mass genocide and kill everyone, bring the population down. So the best way I can explain it is, if you were born in a swamp, a dirty swamp, surrounded by like crocodiles, right? And the crocodiles actually fed off your energy, okay? But you didn't know they were there. You couldn't really see them because the water was so dirty, right? But just the fact that you didn't really know where you were going, and it was dirty water, it was normal to you, but you were always you always felt anxious, and these crocodiles were feeding off that anxiety, okay? If somebody was actually, you didn't even know you could get out the swamp. You didn't know that there was such a thing as land, okay? If somebody came up to you and said, I'm actually on land, it's clean, okay? And you're in here and you're surrounded by crocodiles that are feeding off your fear and anxiety and can kill you any minute, okay? Would you say, don't tell me that, I want to stay here? Or would you say, I might try and get out of this swamp, okay? And then if you get out of the swamp and you look back at where you were, you think, whoa, I can't believe I lived in that for so long, okay? That's sort of my best way of explaining why I share this information. You know, I think, like, if you were lying in bed and your house was on fire, and I knocked on your door, or I threw a stone at your window and I said, quick, you better get out, the house is on fire, would you say, stop being negative? It's not negative if it's a reality. It's just showing what's going on so that we can navigate better, okay? Make different choices. And basically, we are in an environment where our fear is being farmed, okay? Our fear is, we are being farmed. We farm cows and bees for milk and honey and meat and whatever. We're being farmed for our negative energy. It is the best way I can explain it. So, finishing on a solution to this video, I might sound like a broken record. You have to understand how the field operates, okay? This is not pseudoscience. This is not a religious belief. This is measurable, provable, 23 peer-reviewed scientific studies that have proven that when we focus on peace and coherent energy, multiple people do it the same, okay? The one thing that's important is, if a number of people focus on, let's say, gratitude at the same time, that will magnify, that will amplify the field, because it's the same resonance. You with me? It's everyone's resonating on the frequency of gratitude from their heart, contributing that to the field. One of there's many reasons why the dark practitioners abuse children, and this is hard for anybody to hear. It's hard for me to speak, okay? One, they see it as we get fed off, we feed these negative entities, we're being farmed for our fear. But a prepubescent child's fear is like a nectar to these spiritual entities, these dark spiritual entities. Whether you believe it or not, let's just get this straight. If you don't believe this part, Mark Passio says it great, you might not believe in what a Muslim extremist believes in, but if he blows a supermarket up and you're there, right, you are affected by it. So you might not believe what these guys believe, and believe me, they're demented, okay? But it doesn't mean that they don't and they're not acting on it. So they believe that there's certain rushes they get, and I'm not going to go into it here, for abusing children. But the fear of the child is a offering, a spiritual offering to their dark entities. But another side of it, and forgive me for sharing this, guys, but really this is the time of truth. It's now or never, right? If we're not going to act now, I mean, I don't know when we will. Another aspect of it is, if every suburb around the world has somewhere where a child is being abused, right, it is so damaging to the field that it creates chaos, okay? It creates anxiety. And this, you can go to the richest and most seemingly harmonious successful areas. If you actually get to know everyone in the area, the majority of them are depressed or anxious, right? You go to more poor areas, you'll see violence and drugs and what have you. I mean, seriously, guys, everyone's suffering around us, okay? When children are being harmed, it's so damaging to the field, which creates confusion and an icky feeling in everybody who lives in the surrounding area. And let me tell you, this religion is one thing I've learned in the last 18 months is how much bigger it is. We're talking 15 to 20% of the population practice this. And it's people in high positions in the police force, government, medical, okay, education. These are the figures who are high in the Masons, okay? Masons is a front for Satanism. So why am I sharing that? Because if you understood that, if you get that in your bones, you can understand that this is what they're doing to damage the field and keep us fearful, anxious, low vibration. You would understand the power, significance of a spiritual practice, of chanting God's name or chanting a mantra like, let's say, Yu Dao He Jin. Yu Dao He Jin means meld, unify, align, meld with the Tao. The Tao is the benevolent source of all things, okay? Yu Dao He Jin, or Tian Di Ren Hui, heaven, human beings, heaven, Mother Earth, human beings, join as one with the Tao. Shen Qi Jing Hui. These are neutral mantras, okay? Shen Qi Jing Hui is soul, heart, mind, energy, and matter of all beings, including ourselves. Join as one. One is the one unified creator. By chanting these mantras, staying in love, coherence, with the mindset of serving all sentient beings, you are only in control of what you can place, where you can place your energy. By doing this, you contribute peace and coherence to the field. And the more people do this, and the more people do this together at the same time, it literally amplifies the field, because nature is coherent, you see. Okay? All this survival of the fittest is Darwinian, which has, one, been debunked, and two, is a Mason. Okay? This evolution theory that we're just evolved from monkeys, the soul evolves through different species, through different life experiences. We did not evolve from monkeys. You are not an evolved monkey where there's nothing after this life, and you are not spinning on a rock in empty space, just like bacteria on a rock. That's not the environment and the reality that we live in, okay? So understand that we can at every moment contribute to the benefits of all humanity. And that's the importance, okay? So whether I do make a documentary as best as I can, it'll be amateur, but I mean, just to get the message across, or whether I do it in presentations and put them all together, I don't know. But I want to educate people on the true light path of the Shulien, service Shulien, which is, Shulien is a spiritual purification practice, and all of the common links between the light practice, Shulien, and the dark occult practices, but how they are complete polar opposites, and how one will progress you closer to God, and one will basically put you in a downward spiral for eons into hell, okay? That's what I want to do next. I'm sorry if I've gone on a little bit in this video. I haven't spoke for a while on video. If it resonates with you, please share it. If not, it's all good. If my words resonate, use them. If they don't, drop them. I love you all very much. Take care.